The other day I went to Richters Herbs. That's up in Goodwood, I think it is, and it's like it's in southern Ontario, here in southern Ontario, Canada. And I went up there because they have the best herbs on the planet. It's like the whole greenhouse is just herbs and trees and all medicinal stuff. So I'll let you know. I mean, look at this. Okay, so I bought two Goji Berries. See that? These are Goji Berries. And what I love about these labels, I mean, Richter's is amazing. It tells you exactly what this is. It says Goji Berry. It's a culinary and medicinal herb, well-behaved plant that grows into a bush form, likes moderate water and tolerates. Down at the bottom, it says perennial to zones 3 to 9. Height is 2.5 to 4 meters. That's about 7-8 feet. And likes full sun. And I mean, my God, this is amazing. So I usually buy all my herbs from Richters. I also got rue. I bought this rue. You know what I like about this? It's very good if you have anxiety, and like I told you, most of us have anxiety. And it says here it's a pungent bitter leaf. So you can put it in salads and soups and stews and stuff like that, and sandwiches. But you can also chew on about 2 or 3 of these tiny leaves. And what it does is it quickly relieves nervous headache. That's what it says here on the label. So rue, R-U-E, look at that. Perennial, zones 5 to 9, like sun and shade. Isn't that great? I also bought mugwort because I do make smudge sticks, which I really do like. Same thing, mugwort. Let me see. It's for perennial zones 4 to 10, like sun and part shade. And I bought 3 more stevia. So stevia is not a perennial here in Canada. This grows in perennial zones 11 and up. Wow. So what I'm going to do is when I grow this in the garden beds, I'm going to harvest as much as I can. Every year I harvest the leaves and dry them, and I save them. I use them in all my cooking and everything. And what I'm going to do this year is repot these. Dig them out of the beds, repot them, keep them in the house, and hopefully they will last the winter here inside. Also, look at these. Ooh. These are fig trees. Okay? So this one is called a desert king fig. Has large, what does it say? Large figs, have a deep green skin with minute white spots and a luscious strawberry red flesh. Anyhow, this one is a perennial zone 6 to 11, and here where I live in southern Ontario, Canada, we are now a zone 6. And my backyard is all facing east, south, and west. So I think we're a little bit warmer than the other houses that face north. Their backyards are facing north. I don't think this will survive. But anyhow, what I'm going to do is put these in my grow pots here, my 7-gallon grow pots, and I will put it in the greenhouse. If it's a cold day, I'll put it in there for the day. And at nighttime, if it's cold at night, I will bring it in the house. So that's Desert King. And this one here is Olympian Fig. Aren't these gorgeous? I do like figs. And the Olympian Fig is a perennial zone 6 to 9 as well. Okay, and this one says it's an award-winning variety, well suited for home gardens in cool and coastal areas. Woohoo! Okay, so I'm going to plant these 2 figs in the grow pots. These are those pepper seeds that I planted, was it last month? These seeds I scraped right out of a fresh pepper that I chopped up and cooked. And the fresh seeds, I just, scraped them right into this pot of soil. And look at that. I'm really surprised. These were red bell peppers and yellow bell peppers. Isn't that amazing? Let me see. Yeah, look at that, eh? Amazing. I've started some cucumber seeds, and this is one of those canary vine flowers. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? And back there is this is another bell pepper that I actually started from seed, from the package of seeds that you buy from the store. And I planted about 8 seeds and only 1 sprouted. Can you imagine that? This here is one of those little plastic tent greenhouses that we put up about 3 weeks ago. And I had to put some of my cherry tomatoes in there because a few of them were 7 feet tall. Wow, the ones that I were growing indoors in my kitchen. And so I found it very difficult to pull them out onto the patio and then bring them back in every evening. Here in southern Ontario, Canada, it's still chilly. So anyhow, I planted them in there, and I'll let you have a look. Okay, so this is the inside, and as you can see, I put them in there. There's 3 of them, and they went into shock, but you can see up there they're still alive. And I've been watering them every day. It gets very hot in here because tomatoes do like heat. And see, they're still sprouting. I think I'm going to clip these off, and I'm going to clip off the flowers as well, because I want these I want the plants and the roots to get strong. I want them to grow much stronger. And see up here, they look really nice, but they are struggling. So, and I'm pretty sure they went into shock. But they're still alive. And this bin here is one of my compost bins, the kitchen scraps. See that? It's all kitchen scraps in there. And so what I do is I water here. And this bin has holes at the bottom underneath the bin. Several holes. So when I pour water in here, all the nice fertilizer juice will get right into the soil, and it will fertilize these plants. I'm also starting to plant perennial flowers. See that one? So this flower is called a salvia. And so this is what I'm doing. I've decided to start putting flowers in everywhere. Here's another perennial that I have not planted yet. Isn't that pretty? Can you see that? It's an orange wallflower. Isn't that nice? So I want to put flowers in with the veggies. And actually what I've been thinking about doing was making my garden a food forest. Like my whole backyard. It's just going to be a food forest. This is my sage. Look at that, eh? It's growing really well. This is the little rock garden bed that I made a few years ago, and in here I put all the herbs. So this is mother's wort. And I think I told you this many times. I use the mother's wort, I make tea out of it. You can use fresh leaves or dry them. And I just pour hot water and I make lovely tea for my kids. I actually add mint as well and a little bit of stevia to make it taste a bit better, because the leaves, these don't taste so great. And what they do is they help with their anxiety issues. This is my horseradish. I planted this a few years ago. This year I'm actually going to start harvesting the root underneath. There's more mother's wort. There's more mother's wort. There's more mother's wort. thing about herbs is they spread everywhere. Look at my beautiful tulips. Aren't they gorgeous? Down there, this is the Echinacea flowers that I planted last year. This is more sage. Walking onions. These are Egyptian walking onions. You know, I pulled out a lot of them and placed them in a garden bed that's strictly for Egyptian walking onions. And still a few of these popped up. This here is St. John's wort, which is another one for anxiety and depression. And that over there is comfrey. Oh my goodness, this is another grow bin. Sorry, a pot that I had all the kitchen scraps in there. This pot has a lot of holes right on the bottom. So I put it here to fertilize this soil around here because I really do want to repair the soil in my backyard. And I think these are the, see, I wish I had put labels on there. So this is either broccolini or collards. This was another bin that I put in there that I put kitchen scraps in, and this had my see that, my oregano on top, and it looks like an animal came in, was digging down. See that hole? You know, a lot of people get upset with that. I don't, because I do love animals, and if they want to eat, they can eat, as long as they don't eat all of my stuff. Oh, look at this animal. Who's that? Jasper. Jasper. That's my baby. Hey? Look at him. This is a patio that we built for our kids a few years ago. I cleaned it all up and I put some of these pots here. These grow pots. So this is collards. Sorry, I should have put a label on there, for God's sakes. I don't know why I plant stuff and I never put labels there. But this is that red kale, purple kale that I started from seed, and this is collards that I started from seed. This is the pot that I started years ago, and this is green onions. And I had some mint in here. So we'll see if that comes back. But anyhow, I'm going to grow a lot more mint. Mint actually keeps the ticks away. And here is more of that red kale that I planted. Look at that. These are all the garlic. I planted all those garlic in there. And this is another little kitchen scrap bin. This is a flower pot that has a lot of holes in the bottom, so there's no need to drill holes in them. And you just put your kitchen scraps in here. I like to put paper on top. Worms really enjoy that. Even though I put a lid on there, this is a rock. And even though there's a lid on there, worms still prefer to have paper on top. That's what I found out. And you also have to keep it moist in there. So when I water this bin, because under here, this bin was halfway, like right up to about there, it was filled with kitchen scraps. Then I added topsoil or triple mix on top. And so when I water the bin itself, all that lovely fertilized juice comes through these little holes and into this grow pot with my kale. And the same thing with this bin here. Holes, and when I water it, it drips down into here. These grow pots are doing really well because they're outside and I have a lid under one of them and the other one's on rocks on a slab. But I find when it rains, we get a lot of rain here in Canada, in southern Ontario, Canada. And so it keeps the pots nice and moist. Because I find these grow pots, if you just pour water on the top, for some reason it comes out halfway down, it starts pouring out through the fabric. It doesn't actually go right to the bottom. So you have to be very careful. You have to pour a lot of water. So I pour water in on days when it's not raining. I pour a lot of water in, and then I wait about half hour, and then I pour more in. And yeah, and when it's raining, I don't have to water them. Because this is what happened. See that? It's dead. And I was watering this a lot, and I had this one in one of the grow houses, in the makeshift greenhouse, and it died. Even though it's still green, We'll see what happens. Sorry if you hear me all sniffing. I am horribly allergic to a lot of stuff, but I don't care. I'm still going to garden, and I'm going to make my food forest. This here is the blackberries that I planted. This I thought was a bush. It's kind of, it's like a vine, but, and I put, see this? I put that on there to kind of keep them from going all the way back to the fence, because they'll go through the fence and into the neighbor's yard and they get upset. So, and I trimmed all these branches, and I pulled out the, I found out that if the branches are red, these are good, they'll fruit. If they're dark brown or light brown, like the brown ones, that means they're dying. That means they fruited last year and they won't fruit again this year, so you got to clip them off. So that's what I did. I trimmed everything. And this one here, I trimmed this. This is where one of the vines was lying down this right here in the wintertime, and it took root. So I trimmed it, and so now I have another blackberry bush there, and another one right here. Can you imagine? These are my blueberries. These grow pots, for some reason, these have been working well. I water them a lot, and I keep them right on the soil here, and it keeps them nice and moist when we have rain. This is another bin where I keep all the kitchen scraps in there, and it has holes right at the bottom of the bin as well. So when you water that, and I even put holes on the lid, right at the top of the lid, all these little holes. So when we have rain, the rain will go right inside to the bin, and the water inside the bin will come out of the bottom, and it will fertilize my blackberry plant, my blackberry bush. So, and it works really well. Right there I have a, what is that? It's one of my daylilies, Stelladora. I plant Stelladora because those lilies flower all summer long. This is my dwarf pear tree. Okay. This is also in a pot because I'm afraid to plant this right into the ground because a lot of trees die in our backyard. Trees that are right along the edge of the property, they survived. See that? They all survived. And these two trees here, they survived because right down at the bottom we had a big pond at one time. We built a pond there. It was 7 feet long by 5 feet wide by 4 feet deep. And then because we were a foster home, we had to fill it up. So we did. We took it out and we filled it up with soil, and so yeah, these trees are doing really well here. But around here, no. Look at all these beautiful dandelions. And yet, do you see any bees? Not one. Not a single bee. Don't you find that a bit odd? And here is my raspberry bushes. These I planted were called the everbearing, so they flower and fruit twice a year, or twice in the summer. This is that horticulture, or hugelculture, that's called the hugelculture that I built a couple of years ago. And this is my daylilies, Stelladora. These are all my strawberry plants. Here's another raspberry bush. It trailed right underneath. Look at that. So I put chicken wire around it so I can keep it up, and I want to keep the bush right there. This is our rainwater collector from our shed. My husband put these little trellises up there. Okay. Can you see that? Anyhow, and the water comes down and down here and right into the bin. Excellent. Oh, and down here I planted, this is a black currant bush right here. This is black currants. And here is another perennial flower. And over there is another, where is it? Chinese goji. There it is, Goji Berry. This is a Goji Berry bush. I bought 2 of them, and I'm just planting a lot of stuff. Oh my god, look at that. Guess what that is? Raspberries, yay. But anyhow, I'm just going to let things grow. All the weeds that come by. Okay, I want to show you something. This here is the, what do you call those thorn bushes? Those little thorn, they're weeds. And I'm going to tell you right now, you never ever pull them out. Don't do that, because when you pull them out, there's all these little, like little tiny thorns on the, right down the root. And you pull out, if you just grab the plant and pull it out, those little pieces that are on the root break off and stay in the soil and then they root. So when you pull out one plant, you will grow several. So what I do is I get scissors, and I put the scissors right at the very bottom, clip it, and gently pick it up. I just leave the roots in there, but you just keep clipping the top, and it really does kill them. So just keep doing it, and it works really well. I did that in my lawn too, because we had a lot of those thorn bushes in my lawn, and so now they're gone. Okay, I'm going to show you what I planted in here. So this is what I made, over a month ago, and I put my potato pots in here, and look at that. These are red potatoes. See that? So every time you see a little bit of green stuff propping up, you gotta top it up with soil. Just cover it with soil, and just keep on doing it and let it grow a bit more. And when you see the green parts, put more soil on top. So that's what I have been doing. Gotta do some more today. And here, so this is the black plastic that I had put over the garden bed last fall to keep all the weeds out. And I had dumped all these bins that I was doing last year that I had, added kitchen scraps and then some triple mix, and I grew a lot of plants in them, and I dumped all these bins in all these beds. Okay, and I put leaves on top. So this is cheap soil that I bought from the store. It's topsoil, and I just placed that on top. So these are just little flowers, annual flowers. These are called the, what are these called? Nicotina? Nicotina. Yeah, they smell beautiful. I love them. I planted a few of them. This is a rosemary plant that I bought from the store. And the guy told me, oh yeah, they're perennials, they grow. Well, they are perennials, but this here in Canada, I don't think so. Even though right now where I live is a zone 6, I have grown rosemary many times, and nope, they never come back. These are my jalapeno peppers that I bought, and it was one little bin of jalapeno, had 1 pepper in it. That's what they do. They have one little bin with a little pot with 1 pepper in it. I found this one pot that had 4 peppers growing, so that I bought. And so here I have 4 jalapeno peppers. Look at that. And I put them in here, and I keep this plastic closed because I've decided everything in this garden bed is going to enjoy the super heat. And yeah, peppers need a lot of heat. So I still have my green onions there. I'm gonna have to plant those one day. I got more of these little flowers. Back here is that celery that I started. This is the one that I bought from the store when in January, and I had rooted it, and so I just planted this as well. When did I do that? Last week. Planted it in there with these jalapeno peppers. Yay! Okay, here's another bin with kitchen scraps in there. I put some soil on top. I planted, that was the green lemongrass, and there's another perennial flower that I have to find a place to pot to plant. These are my Stevia plants that I got from Richters Herbs. I haven't planted these yet either because they do not like the cold. And same thing with my basil. So, but they're doing very well in here. And this is another bin with kitchen scraps. See that? Kitchen scraps. So what I'm doing is, okay, sorry guys, my battery died. So anyhow, I forgot what I was saying, but this garden bed, yeah, I'm just going to keep all the hot stuff that really enjoys the heat in here. And also, oh yeah, I was going to tell you, this plastic, well, the water does flow through it, but I had put this in the last fall, yeah, to keep the weeds out. But anyhow, as I plant, I'm going to slowly roll it back, and I'm going to put these bins like that sideways, and I will plant things, veggies and flowers all around it. I'm going to put a lot of flowers in my garden beds too. So there you go. These here are my elderberry bushes. This is one I bought last year. I mean, look how much it's grown. It looked just like this. This one I bought this year, and so see how fast they grow? These are the American elderberries. And down here I planted an herb called rue. That's also for, it's an herb for your anxiety issues as well. It's another bin that has kitchen scraps in it. This is my, I'm not sure if this is the broccolini or the collard, but it seems to be growing well. I water it a lot because it's in this pot. That is mugwort that I bought and planted. And look at that, hey? These are my comfrey plants. See how beautiful they are? And down here is soapwort that I planted a couple of years ago. And this year I'm actually going to try and dig up some of the roots, not all of them, but a couple. And you let them dry, and you just put them in your palm of your hand with a bit of water, and you rub it together, and it gets all sudsy, soaps up. This is another Goji Berry. And in this pot here I planted a lot of sugar snap peas. Look at these. Isn't that gorgeous? People call these weeds. I don't think they're weeds. These are beautiful blue flowers. I love them. This is my garden bed for the Egyptian walking onions. Can you imagine? Look at that. I mean, really, I only bought one plant, eh? It's crazy. This is another herb called wormwood that I bought, wow, what, 5 years ago? Wormwood. And it grows really tall, and I just trimmed it. Oh, there's a bumblebee. Thank God. These are my my fig trees that I bought from Richters Herbs, and these are perennials. They're because I'm a zone 6, these are perennials for zone 6, so I don't think I'm going to plant these in the ground. I'll keep these in these pots, keep them well watered, and in the winter time I will bring them in and keep them in the garage. So the leaves will fall off, they'll stay dormant, and that's fine, and then they'll come back in the spring. I really did a lot of research about this because I really do want to grow a lot of fruit trees and a lot of fruit bushes and a lot of veggies that are all perennials. So we'll see what happens. I'm so allergic to everything. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed this. I'll see you guys later.